And I do have a few concerns. I'm not going to ask all the questions that I've got, but I'll just ask a couple. First off, when I look at this budget, there's a number of area concerns. One is on the nursing homes. I just lost 2 nursing homes out of my district in the last several years, one just last year. And, you know, when I went and visited with the manager and the staff of the nursing home, I said, have you found alternative places for some of our most vulnerable? And they said, well, we hope so. Okay. I mean, that didn't give a lot of comfort. Now, in the end, they were able to find other locations. But it seems like we're, you know, I think last biennium, if I remember right, we put an additional $300 million into the nursing homes, but it was more of a Band-Aid. And again, my nursing homes I've talked to in my area are stressed. So what do you think will be the result of the governor's budget if it were to pass on the nursing homes? My first question.
I think your question is a good one, and I think it's a question we should be asking for all the bills and proposals that we are discussing in this committee, as the consequences are sometimes great. In this particular instance, I think it's hard to know. I would say that there's a few components within the challenges that nursing homes experience, one being demand and empty beds, to which this proposal doesn't address. And a lot of times when nursing homes are unable to stay open, that is a big component of it. This proposal is really centered around the rates, which have grown by over 100% since 2017, and it caps it limits the inflation. But you know, I don't know what the impact would be to individual businesses. Of course, each one is probably at a different, coming from a different lens and a different financial outlook for their own business. So I do think we should continue to look into it.
Thanks for that response. I do think it's a critical area. I mean, these are our most vulnerable, and we seem to want to put the reductions on their backs in some particular case. The next area, I just have a question. I got a couple more questions and then just a statement. I got a lot more, but I won't ask them, is in the area of EMS. I attended some meetings in the last biennium, and what I heard from the rural EMS, you know, the EMS providers, their area is expanding, and yet they can't keep up with as far as the reimbursement is concerned. I know we did increase it some. If I remember right, it was 180 million. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that was way short of what they need to keep up. So, and the other thing is, you know, as far as the nursing home is concerned, and even EMS, they did get increased funding, but as the chair mentioned, the other thing they blame the shortage on is more and more mandates and not enough funding to keep up with the mandates. So we're mandating them financially into bankruptcy is what it amounts to. The next thing is, you know, well, I'll just skip to this statement. What it appears to me is a cost shifting. You know, we say we're making savings, but when I look at the illustration I have here from staff, in the next few bienniums, we're shifting to the counties $642,705,000. So some of my constituents would call that bait and switch, okay? We're not really reducing anything, we're just shifting it to another area of government to pick up the cost. And it's in key areas right across that take care of some of our most vulnerable. And again, we're shifting it to counties, and we know what happens. We know that property taxes are going to go up, and it's going to hurt the low-income and fixed-income people the most, who are already struggling to pay their energy bills, their health care, their prescriptions, and everything else. So I just have a lot of problem with this cost shifting. So do you have a response for my counties that are going to be complaining, I'll use a nice word, okay? I won't add the expletives that they might. When we're doing this cost shifting, what justification would the governor have for shifting this much over to counties who are already maxed out on so many different areas?
One of the challenges that we have discovered as we're looking into the data on growth in disability waivers is that it's not only rates, it's not only people, but it's volume of services and volume of units being authorized. And the county plays a really key pivotal role in the infrastructure of the disability waiver programs because they're working with the person and they're working with their family and they're finding providers and they're authorizing services on their behalf. But when we look at the data, those authorizations have gone up something like 163% in 2 years or 3 years. And the amount billed has followed suit, of course, because the amount authorized has gone up. In some cases, that's probably exactly what the person needs. In other cases, you know, could there be some more guidelines around how much services, you know, are appropriate for a person with a level of acuity? And so we're kind of looking into solutions around that problem where the counties are doing a lot of amazing work on behalf of the state, but there isn't any fiduciary responsibilities on behalf of the local government related to disability waiver program spending. So I think this is one area focusing in on the residential services and provider controlled settings. That is service that costs the state 3 to 4 times more on average than services provided to a person in their own home. We're focusing in on that to hopefully maybe decrease the higher level of spending. However, I would say this is the beginning of a conversation, and we would be certainly happy to work with the committee and the counties to think of other creative solutions to kind of get at that problem of not having a lot of guidelines and structure around fiduciary responsibilities on behalf of the local counties.
Okay, just one comment about the EMS. You know, when I attended those meetings, what we're talking about is delayed response time to emergencies. So people's lives are at stake here, okay? And as the areas get bigger and they have a bigger area to care for, the response time is more. And the result is that you're endangering people's lives, especially in the rural area. I don't know how bad it is in the metro area, but I know in the rural area, we're really getting stretched out there. So I'll just give you that input. And again, ladies, I know you didn't do this budget, okay? You're just presenting it. So, but you're sitting in front of us, so you get the questions. Okay, I'll just make a couple statements, I'll quit. You know, the other thing to understand, the demographics are changing in this state. We're having the elderly, you know, the baby boomers retire with their health problems, everything else, they live longer, and that's part of the problem. We don't have enough young people. There's a reason we don't have enough young people, but I won't say it in the committee because it causes irritation. Okay. And the other thing I'd say is, you know, when I look at the governor's budget, and this is for the panel in general, okay, I don't see any reduction of benefits for illegals. I mean, in our schools, our public schools, in our health care with Minnesota Care, we're paying 2 years of college tuition. I'm just giving a partial list. 2 years of college tuition if their income's under 80,000 or 80,000 a year. We're giving them free lunch in K-12. I could go on. There's millions of dollars being spent, is my assumption, I don't have the figures in front of me, on illegal citizens coming here, which we're incentivizing them to do, which the new president is trying to put a stop to. And yet, instead of addressing these in the governor's budget, we turn around and we make reductions and cost shifts on our most vulnerable citizens that have worked here, participated, paid taxes. I see that as a complete contradiction and something that needs to be changed. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.